to fill, we come over here. So to your left. So there are two sets of wheels here and another pair at the back. And these are to fill the main ballast tanks with water. So you can go ahead and click on those, and it'll automatically
open them.
So now it's open, and if we look at the gauge here, we can see it's filling with water slowly. And so if you go ahead and open the ballast tanks in the aft as well, back here. So you can open those. And now the aft main ballast tanks will be filling. And so when both the forward and the aft tanks are completely full, we are neutrally buoyant. So that means that if we don't use any of the dive planes or anything, we should maintain depth.
Yeah.
In practice, it does tend to go up ever so slowly over time, but it's pretty close to perfectly neutral. And so during a normal dive, the first thing you do is you open those forward and aft tanks, wait for the tanks to fill, and once they're full, you close the valves again. So I'll get the forward.
So you close them once they're full.
Yeah, because if they're open, you can't drain them later on, and so it's good to.
you can't blow them.
Yeah, so the aft one is full, so the aft one is now closed.
Yeah.
And so we're now neutrally buoyant. We're still on the surface. Yeah. And so to dive, at this point, the next step is to switch to the electric engines using the engine telegraph.
Electric engines, where are you? There.
Yeah, on both sides.
Oh, change. Okay.
And then it's good to set both engines back to. In this case, let's go to a head slow.
Where's a head slow? Find it. A head slow. Ah, I see. It's a head slow speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we're now running on the electric engines using the battery and heading forward. And so with that done, we can now use the dive planes, and we can set the dive planes to the down position, and we'll begin to
dive.
You can use both the forward and the aft planes at the same time.
Can you? Oh.
Yeah.
I see. Now I've got it.
Yeah, so let's see if we can get our depth down to periscope depth now. There we go. We're now passing 12 meters, so we can start to level off. And so yeah, so we should level off if we set both the planes to 0 again. Then our depth should level up. Yeah. So we're now stable at about 12.5 meters. So this is perfect position, I think. We can try the. So behind you now, you can get off we can just leave the dive for now. So behind you over here, this is the control for the observation periscope. And so when this is up, you can then click into the periscope and get a look around.
Have a look around. Zoom to. Me ought to zoom in. Okay. No ships. Only our chips.
Yep. Okay. So we're gonna have to use the hydrophone to figure out the direction to the target. So
yeah.
blow out. So normally you have to be careful a little bit with the observation periscope because it's more easily seen by the enemy than the attack periscope.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so here we have the hydrophone station, which we can use to search for contacts when we're underwater.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can click into that. And so the main controls is, yeah, you have the wheel at the bottom that you can click and drag to change the direction that you're listening in.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so you have the needle that shows you your bearing. The outer needle or that sorry, the outer numbers are relative bearings, with
Yeah.
0 being forward, 90 being right, etc. And the inner wheel is magnetic bearings, which rotates following the compass.
Yeah.
Most of the dials here aren't really important except for the gain. So if you turn the gain up to about, I don't know, 3-ish for the moment, the gain kind of acts as like the amplification of sound. So yeah, you can sort of click and drag on that to turn it up or down.
I'm on you. Oh, I see. Up to
So let's set it up to
3.
3 or 3.5 or somewhere in that range. And so now if you sweep around, hopefully you should hear something.
Oh, yeah.
So directly behind us, you'll hear our own engines. So that's around bearing 180 relative.
Yeah.
That'll be our own engines running.
You just keep going round and round till you catch something.
Yeah, I mean, if you do a full sweep 360 and don't hear anything, then that's an interesting sign. I mean, I can always also give it a go just to make sure that there is something to.
Nope, I hear nothing.
All right, can I pop on for a sec?
Yeah.
Oh, we may have surfaced actually. Yeah, yeah. Nobody was keeping an eye on the depth, and so the ship surfaced.
So we rose back up again.
Yeah, so this is an important point. This is sort of the biggest danger is that if you don't have someone keeping an eye on the depth, it tends to be a little unstable,
Yeah.
and you can exit the surface without paying attention. And if that happens while you're in front of an enemy destroyer, it can be quite disastrous. And I've
Yeah.
had that happen a few. So I'll get us back under again, and then we can try the hydrophone. Yeah. So hydrophone, of course, only works when we're submerged.
Yep. So what do you normally sail at first, depth-wise?
Um, well, periscope depth whenever you're hunting on the
Yeah.
surface, whenever chasing, trying to get into position, and 200 if I'm trying to escape destroy. All right, looks like okay, we're at a good depth now. So according to Chef, he says there's something at magnetic bearing 3.5.
Yeah, I've got a magnetic bearing of about 268. The
Yeah,
inside line.
that'll be our engine again.
Yeah. Okay, I'm getting nothing at between 35 and 40 magnetic.
Let me have a listen, maybe. There we go. He had the gain turned down, so yeah, give it a shot now. I turned the gain back.
Okay, mate. Oh yeah, I can hear it now. I've got a ping now.
Hey,
Yeah.
are you sure?
Oh yeah.
You sure that's not just the motors? 'Cause all I heard
No,
was
no,
motor.
no. You listen to that.
Oh, you're right. That's a ping. Yep. Okay. There's motors and pinging. So somebody has already drawn down the wrath of a.
Yeah.
All right. So the closest contact was about bearing 020 from what I heard. So I'm going to turn us in that direction.
Yep.
All right. And I think we can. Okay. Let's do a quick scan of the horizon. Make sure we're not too.
Make sure we're not too close.
Okay. The observation periscope is currently below the water line, so we need to go up a little bit. Yeah, how's that? Is it above water yet?
It is just about.
Okay, I'll get us a little higher then. Stand by.
Okay. But I don't see nothing though. Oh, Chef said that's our motor's echoes.
Oh, I've accidentally surfaced this. Well, definitely above water. Yeah, we're clear. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear that. Chief.
Yeah, Chief's not on Discord with us,
Oh,
sadly.
okay. I can hear that. He's saying that's our engine, but there's somebody else close to us.
Yeah, well, there's some. It's still quite a ways off actually, because I can't see them. They're over the horizon. All right. So, wow. So how about I show you the surfacing procedure?
Okay, mate.
All right. So we're currently at periscope depth,
Yep.
and I'm going to call the order to surface. So step one is full up on the planes. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yep. So that's uh, E and arrow up. So that's us going up.
Hello.
Oh
Hello.
shit.
And goodbye, I guess.
So that's the dive planes up, full up.
Yep. So we're rising now fairly
Yep.
quickly.
Yeah. Periscope's coming down.
Hello again.
Hello. I will now bring them back to 0.
Yeah. All right. So now we're basically back on the surface. So now we can switch back over to the diesel engines on the engine.
Up here. Back to diesel engine. Where are you gone, diesel engine? There.
Also the other engine as well.
Yep, just switching him now for.
All right. And let's go full ahead this time. All right. And we are cruising. So next step is to blow the main ballast tanks back here. So this is our wheel here to
Blow the main ballast
force
on.
air and empty the water out. So go ahead and click into that and turn the wheel by clicking it. Yeah, so go ahead and just open it all the way.
Oh, it doesn't go that far open, to be honest. I was expecting it to go around more than that.
Yeah. All right, so now we can close that off.
Yep.
And we're now fully surfaced, rising high, positive buoyancy. And so, yeah, diesels are running. So
Yep.
the next things we can do are to recharge the compressed air. So here we have the air compressor. So you can just flip that on with the lever. And so that'll recharge our compressed air. And so in a couple of places we have these dials that show the compressed air level. And so it maxes out at about 210. So after that point, we can turn the compressor. But for now, we can leave it to run.
Yeah.
The other thing that we should do that I forgot to do is to set the. Oops, I didn't actually mean to go through there. The next thing would be to set the engines to recharge, or set the batteries to recharge by clicking in the engine order telegraph and then um, turning it to charge battery. Yeah, and then you can switch it back to full speed and it'll keep charging. Oh, that's the stern speed in the starboard engine there.
Going the wrong way.
And I should also note that if you click out of the engine telegraph now,
Yeah.
to the right of that here is our battery status,
Oh,
going
shite.
between 0 and 9 kiloamp hours.
Yeah.
So it's important to
have
keep
a-
an eye on that when you're submerged, just in order to know how much battery you have left. And so the faster you run the engines, the faster you burn through the battery.
Yeah. Fast you use your battery up.
Yeah, and it's very non-linear. So going to full speed burns quite a lot more power than just going in.
Yep.
All right, so I think we're now safe to head. We're cruising towards the convoy, so let's go upstairs.
I don't want to give you any stress or anything, but we have a convoy ahead of us.
Yeah, you see it?
Yep, 2 destroyers.
Oh, no.
Pop up and take a look. Do you have the relative bearings?
Wait a minute.
Oh, I see a merchant.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, seen. Yeah, thanks for the heads up. We should, I think, turn to get in front of the convoy. All right, can you turn us to bearing 300, please, Chef?
Yep. Full.
Okay, all right, boys, let's go completely up onto the bridge here, and we'll look around up here first. Yeah. Okay, so here we are, some fresh air at last.
Yeah.
So at the front here, we have an extra set of rudder controls, which I am actually going to start turning up.
Yep. Okay.
We have the Uzo here, which is a mounted binocular, which works basically a little bit like the periscope, except without some of the features.
Cheers. Carry on.
So yeah, you can click on that if you want to take a look at that. It's basically just a periscope, but missing the vertical axis and the
Yeah.
bearings.
Okay.
The advantage of the Uzo is it has slightly better magnification than the other periscopes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can see that the attack periscope is fully raised now.
Yeah.
which does kind of make us a bit of a target, having it up so high.
Yeah, it does make us stand out a bit, doesn't it?
It does. I am just going to take a quick look to make sure we are in a good position. Oh, okay, we're in good shape now. We're running to get in front of the convoy. So what else do we have? We have the anti-aircraft gun back here.
Yeah.
Do not fire this. This will draw attention.
I'm not going to.
And at the moment, there are no aircraft implemented in the game, so it's not very useful.
Yeah.
You can also take, there's a little ladder here you can click on, go down to the main deck. And so, of course, up here we have the deck gun. Also, yeah, do not shoot unless you really intend to use it, because it will draw the attention of the destroyer.
Yeah.
We can save that lesson on how to use the deck gun for another time.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go to the conning tower. I guess that's basically the only area we haven't. Yeah, so you can right click to get off the ladder here. And so here, yeah, we have the attack periscope, which, yeah, you can click on, take a look at that. Behind you, to your left now, yeah. Yeah, so again, you can sort of steer with the mouse. You can use the W and S keys to raise and lower. So with the attack periscope, you can actually control the height properly.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 merchant ships in front. Well, 70. Yeah, 70 degrees. Press T to start and stop your stopwatch.
Yeah, there's a whole set of controls for like the stopwatch and stuff if you want to do timing and stuff.
Did we shut the hatch?
Yeah. So here we also have a set of engine order, telegraph, and rudder control.
Yeah.
For, if you want to control it from the conning tower, everything works the same way as the main.
Yeah.
And to your right, we have the torpedo data computer, which is where we input all of the settings to set up the torpedo.
Yeah.
And so many dials here. Yeah, we have time. I can run you through these, I suppose. You can click onto it to get control over the dial.
Okay, yeah.
And so I guess just to run through these, I guess, so in the top row, in the top left, we have impact angle, which is not important. Get that.
Yeah.
To the right, we have target speed, which you can click and drag to adjust the speed that you think the enemy ship is moving at.
Oh, okay, I see,
So
yeah.
This allows the computer to sort of estimate where the enemy ship will be, when the torpedo would hit it.
Yes. So
to the right of that is the torpedo depth setting,
yeah,
which you can control how deep the torpedoes run. If you set it too deep, the torpedo goes right underneath the target.
yeah.
They haven't implemented magnetic detonators yet, so you want to make sure that this is set to a smaller number than the draught of the target ship, so that it hits the target.
So I'm guessing you need that set in about 2 then, torpedo depth?
Yeah, 2 is a good number for most time. 2 to 3 for merchant ships is fine. So below those you have the range, which of course is probably one of the most critical variables.
Yep, the range, yep.
And so that is the range is given in units of 100 meters. So setting the range to 5 is 500 meters. Setting it to 10 is 1,000 meters.
Yeah.
Beside that is the length dial. That is the length of the target ship, and that is used when you're doing salvo shots to determine how spaced out the torpedoes are.
Yeah.
So if you set the length to say 100 meters, then at the range of the target, it'll determine the torpedo firing angles such that the torpedoes will be separated then by 100 meters.
Okay. So it's set at 10 at the moment, the length.
Yeah. So if you're doing single shots, it doesn't actually matter.
Mm-hmm.
And so below that is the angle on bow dial, which is a bit of a tricky thing, but very important. And so that is the direction to our sub from the target's perspective. And setting that tells the computer sort of what direction the target is going from our perspective. And so if we're on the left side of the target ship, then we're on somewhere sort of bow left at some angle. If we're to the right of the target ship, then it's some angle bow right. 90 degrees is usually the ideal angle. It's that side on that gives you the biggest sort of broadside to hit. And so to the right of that, gyro angle and spread angle aren't important. Time to impact will tell you how long the torpedo runs.
Yeah.
And to the right of those, there are these 3 dials on the right side.
Yeah.
The top one is angle tracking, which determines how the bearing is set. So if you set it to AP, then it takes the bearing to target as the direction that the attack periscope is looking.
Yeah.
OP, it takes it from the observation periscope. Uzo takes it from the Uzo up top. And if you set it to off, then you can actually set the bearing, the dial in the very bottom left. And so normally you just set this to attack periscope and leave it, because
leave it at
all the torpedo, the captain is usually running the attack periscope.
Yeah.
Below that, the single shot dial sets which torpedo tube you're on. Torpedo tubes 1 to 4 are the forward tubes.
Yeah.
Torpedo tube 5 is the aft tube, which shoots backwards.
Yeah.
And if you set salvo, then you can use the bottom dial, the salvo shot dial, to fire multiple tubes at one time.
Okay.
So normally the firing procedure goes like this. The captain will do a time measurement, or do a speed measurement early on to get the target speed.
Yeah.
And then as you get closer to the target, the captain will call out ranges, he'll call out angle on bow. And when he is ready and he's decided that it's in a good position to fire, the captain will then fire the torpedo. Okay. And it's then the TDC operator's job to select the next tube right away and then be ready to take the inputs, which are usually the range and angle on bow.
Yeah.
And so it's usually, whoever's on this has the responsibility of sort of quickly and accurately inputting whatever numbers are given by the captain.
Okay.
Okay, and we are still cruising to get caught up to get ahead of the convoy. We're in good shape. Let's pop back downstairs. So air has been full for a while, so I'm going to turn off the air compressor because it's loud. Let's see. Yeah, so when you're on the ladder, you can right-click to slide down. It's a nice little...
Do you not shut the hatch on this one?
Not on the lower level. We only have the top hatch.
Okay.
Okay. What else do we have? So that's sort of the main stuff. Let's look at a few of the minor things. So over here, we have these 2 red wheels.
Yeah.
So these are for the negative buoyancy tank. And so these can be used to give sort of extra weight to the sub if you want to dive very quickly.
Yeah.
Normally, they're only used for emergency dives. And so if the captain calls an emergency dive, you use the top wheel to fill the negative tank with water.
Yeah.
And then after the emergency dive, at some point, the captain will order that the negative tank be blown, and then you use the bottom wheel to use the compressed air to empty the negative tank.
Yeah.
And so normally that's only for an emergency dive.
Mm-hmm.
What else? So back here, we also have the bilge level and the bilge pump. So if we dive really deep, we'll start to take on water slowly, and that will fill the bilges.
Yeah.
And so that sort of adds negative buoyancy as it fills with water.
Mm-hmm.
And so normally, if you want to keep your buoyancy under control, you can then use the bilge pump to empty the bilges using compressed air to control your buoyancy.
Mm-hmm.
It should be noted that the bilge pump produces a lot of noise, and if you use it when destroyers are listening, the destroyers can hear it.
Okay.
So you should only use the bilge pump when you know that you're safe.
Yep.
We also have here is the Echo Ranger, which is used to determine the distance to the sea bottom.
Yeah.
I think we should probably not use it. We're close enough that I don't want to risk an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so normally you would press that, and then there's a little line that kind of spins around and tells you the depth in meters underneath the keel. So if you've already dove to 100 meters and you run it, and it says 30, then it means the total sea bottom is at 130.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's a navigator station here, which we'll skip because it's not so important most of the time. So back here we have, we've looked at the hydrophone already. There is the radio, which you can use the telegraph key then to send messages. We're receiving a message. And so, yeah, to use it, you just do what Chef here has done. You click into it, and then you begin typing slowly, and it converts what you're typing into Morse code.
Yeah.
But if you type too quickly, then it skips letters. And so you have to make sure you don't type too quickly. And then that will send messages that all the other subs can
read.
And I think that concludes our tour. Any questions?
No, not really. But if I do, I'll give you a shout.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, we're now basically in a position where we're trying to run in front of the convoy so that we can sneak into it. I can see, yeah, there's a destroyer at the front of the convoy. I can see a bunch of merchants. Another destroyer on the side, and one in the back. So, yeah, it's going to take us a little while to run in front, which is fine. Yeah, so I think when we get into combat, I think what I'm going to want you to do is probably to run the helm here and the dive planes.
Okay.
So that's mostly just the responsibility there is to turn the rudder according to any orders given, and then use the compass to determine how far you've turned and what bearing you've turned to.
Yeah.
Any engine orders that the captain might give, and then the dive planes at the same time. And so sort of bouncing between the dive planes and the rudder as needed.
Okay.
And most critically, making sure that we don't accidentally surf them. Because, yeah, that will fairly easily happen if you stop paying attention.
Yeah, because the blue dial is now in the middle, so that's depth, isn't it?
So the blue one is the tilt. So whether the submarine is tilted up or down, it's not actually so critical.
Yeah. So the red one is really your depth gauge to your periscope.
Yeah, red one is depth gauge to periscope, or you can use the wheel on the left here, which is your shallow depth.